All right, what's up, guys? Thanks for joining us here at Flowroll Podcast for episode number 2. We are coming to you from the Cage in ECF Gym in Lynbrook, Long Island. Not only are we in a special location, but we have some special guests with us as well. We are with Christian, the Destroyer DeFerris.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And we are with Kevin Reed, the brown belt extraordinaire of the ECF world.
That's right.
And I am Matt Randisi, and beside me, my cohorts in action, Jonathan Vieira and Elise Escalante. Say hi, guys.
Hola.
What's going on? Welcome back. Awesome to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
So it's always fun to be back at this great gym. Walking in, it's always like it's a jaw dropper.
Oh, man, thank you, man.
But it's a great sized gym for sure.
Yeah.
Really enjoy the layout.
Oh, I know. It's a lot to clean up at the end of the night.
It's all worth it, though, right?
Absolutely. But yeah, man, we're right here. You know, we're right on the borderline. Sunrise Highway's right here. You got the Cross Island, the Southern State, right next to all the highways. So
if you are in the city and you want to catch us, you got to head over to Stage 48 where we throw some of our shows.
Oh, yeah. We've been residents over at Stage 48. We throw about 6 shows there, mixed martial arts and kickboxing events. We're over in Queens now. But yeah, we are looking to expand. I'm looking to opening up gyms, hopefully in Queens and Brooklyn soon.
Nice.
So let's piggyback on that.
Yeah.
So not only do you have the gym, ECF, but ECF shares its name with a promotion as well. You have your own fight promotion.
Yeah. I have Extreme Cage Fighting, which is the show, and ECF Gym, which is Elite Champions Fitness. It would have been hard to, sell memberships to kids for Extreme Cage Fighting.
Of course, yeah.
So, we kept the letters and changed it up a bit. We call it the House of Champions. We have 15 different belts hanging on the walls that I'm very proud of that my students have obtained. So, yeah, man, champion lifestyle.
So what's that journey been like for the both of you, being like balancing the gym as well as the promotion? How is that worked like with the behind the scenes? It must be
He said that in dread.
I mean, you got all your hair, so it can't be that stressful, right?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Last night, we are on the mats training.
Yeah.
And I went from giving one of our pro MMA fighters rounds of ground and pound to immediately sitting in an office chair making fights for our show on April 24th.
Within 2 minutes. I was teaching the women's fitness kickboxing and the Muay Thai class over on the side. I go to Kevin, it's 7 minutes to 9. I go, Kevin, 9 o'clock my class is over. 9:05, we have to start working on this show so we can get out before midnight. So our day, we rarely get out of here before 11 p.m. We usually get around midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
You guys live in the area, I assume?
Kevin does now because he's spent so much time here. There's nice that, he slept here working around the clock because we're so dedicated to this, man. Between running the gym of this size and managing, training fighters, kids, fitness, martial artists, and then our shows, it's a lot. But you know what?
It's not even a full-time job. It's just stuck. That's life.
It's
That's
life.
now.
Yeah, it's not even a
now.
job. It's like
it's just life.
It's life.
That's what you made life.
Yeah, man. It's literally my life. And the dedication is. I'm just so happy that I actually found a partner that's as dedicated and loves the industry on both ends as much as I do. Because I've been doing this for a long time, and I've done business with a lot of people. I've managed gyms to owning gyms, and I've had a couple managers before that. He manages my gym as well as being the COO of my company, the Chief Operating Officer. So,
You must have some fancy business cards, huh?
I do.
Yeah.
Actually, my business card, a fist pops out and punches you and then goes back in.
Oh.
It's like Extreme Cage Fighting, COO.
Boom!
Like, I gotta go here.
What was that? Yeah, man. So it's 24/7, but we love it. This is our life. I don't know what I would be bored without it. We're getting into a lot of trouble, so I'd rather be doing what I'm doing.
So let me ask you something. Would you competing be considered a conflict of interest because of your role behind the scenes?
Man, we've been talking about this.
You know what? I said that.
Quite a while.
He's actually one of the best fighters I know. And when we originally met, we met because I was trying to match him on my show. I was the matchmaker at the time, as well as the CEO. I told you guys before we started rolling. In the beginning, I did everything for the first year. I finally hired some help the second year, and now I have a person for each department. Thank God, because that's how we're able to grow. But for a year and a half, man, I did everything. So I heard about Kevin. You know, I heard about what he was doing on the grappling scene, ripping apart, you know, people's ankles, knees, choking out purple belts, brown belts, black belts, even though he was a purple belt at the time. And I said, look, man, you know, it's going to be not easy to match you because of your reputation as a grappler, but let's do it now before you have even any more of a reputation.
Like, let's do it now before we have to bill you as a brown belt.
You know what I mean? So I tried 6 months to match the guy. I couldn't. No one would take a fight with him.
Really?
Yeah. A couple people said yes, and then they looked him up and said no.
You're like, Kevin, yeah, sounds soft.
Yeah. I was sending a picture. I'd be like, Kevin, send me a picture of you. You know, look nice. But yeah, he's you know, he was a monster. Then I got him a super fight grappling. He did great. Won with submission, heel hook. Amazing show. He was not only a great martial artist, he put on a great show. He went in there and he was like, he pumping up the crowd
a little bit.
Yeah, he had Movado to him, like
getting your Ric Flair on.
Oh, dude!
I put my hands behind my back.
You went like this, look.
So the guy didn't really want to engage me as much as I wanted to. So I just figured I'd put my hands behind.
Well, he's got to get a stepladder to reach you anyway. So I mean,
the guy's his size. No, the guy was his size.
Oh,
Big,
yeah?
strong, awesome guy, man. He was a good competitor. But you know, Kevin's just an amazing grappler, man. And then he won, but with great an amazing performance. And then after that, we became buddies and couldn't match him. So I brought him in on the business end.
So a continuing struggle that you not being able to get fights for this reason.
Well, he got caught up in the business end. He loved it so much.
Yeah, we grind every day, and we have so many fighters too that we manage. You know, like last night, I gave one of our up and coming pros, Chike Obi, I was giving him MMA rounds.
Shout out to Chike. He's got a big fight coming up on Maverick MMA Pro Show, April 14th, out in Pennsylvania.
I don't know if you guys gamble, but it's right by the Sands Casino. If you want to come through.
Say no more.
I love
Say no more.
casinos.
I don't gamble.
I won't tell you guys, but if you want to sit at the
the
holding table with me, I'll be happy to take
come
you.
out. So
He's trying to get me into gambling, right? I don't gamble.
We'll see.
I don't gamble either.
When
I don't
Wait a
even
minute, what do you
scratch out
do?
tickets.
Neither do I. You know what? And my
told you,
brother
High
is the
Gal.
complete opposite and wins
That's
money
not
every day.
gambling.
And then
Wait,
the
what's this?
video.
What?
High Gal was coasting. It's not gambling.
I'm careful.
What's
But
this called?
I do like
High
to go
Gal.
to
It's a
the
Chinese
Atlantic
poker
This
game.
went
City,
from fights
Yeah.
to business to fights to gambling.
It's so funny. Well, the fights are always
Well,
usually
they're
taking place
related.
around or in casinos.
Exactly.
Ring of Combat.
It's all in the same.
Yeah.
Also-
Shout out to Taj, another fighter that
Yes.
we train and manage. He's a Ring of Combat champion. I actually met Taj at a place called Energy back when I was still competing. It was a place that we would go spar on Friday nights. Shout out to John Salgado, amazing pro fighter, Bellator veteran, good friend of mine. So we used to go to Energy on Friday nights, and fighters from all over the state would be there. It was an apartment. It was an apartment in Manhattan, like a regular apartment that they gutted.
And a Manhattan
In
apartment.
Manhattan,
So it's smaller than this
Bro,
cage we're sitting in right
It
now.
was the same width as this ring. It was the same width as this cage. Maybe double, triple. Imagine 3 of these, but
Also like
maybe a little
railroad
thinner.
style.
Actually, a little smaller, and it went down. So it was the weirdest thing. You go in it; it's a regular apartment, man. I walked past it honestly like 7 times. So I was like, I walked past. I'm like, dude, I can't
can't
find
be
this
this
place.
place.
And then he goes, "There's a sign." I go, "I'm in front of this address." He goes, "Look down." And there's a sign this big that says Energy with an arrow that points up. I'm like, all right. I go in this little elevator. I go upstairs. It's an apartment, dude. I knock on the apartment door, open the door, and you look inside. The apartment is transformed into an MMA gym. And there's like 20 people fighting. And
At once.
Yeah, at once. I would bring my fighters there. I would spar there. And that's where I picked up a lot of fighters from my show, sparring with them.
So specifically for your shows, you do both. You do pro and amateur, or is it strictly amateur?
Yeah,
It's pro
no.
and
We have a
amateur.
pro show now, Kevin and I, called King of the Ring. And that's pro Muay Thai, K1, super fights grappling, and amateur MMA and K1 on the undercard. Just
Awesome.
pro MMA is so hard to do here, only because of the insurances and the licensing.
And the regulations are fairly new for New York.
Well, we're licensed to do pro MMA. We have everything lined up. We have the licensing. I paid for it. I took it, so it's actually hanging on my wall in my office.
Nice.
But the insurance is between $2,000 and $3,000 per fighter. Per fighter. So
Laying down
think
some
about this: a
knowledge.
10-fight show. 10-fight show. That's 20 fighters times 3,000. It's $60,000 just in insurance.
Wow.
Plus, you got a venue.
Could you do like amateurs?
No, and that's the thing. You cannot do. You can't do an amateur undercard. It has to be a full MMA pro show in New York.
So you're all in.
In other states, they do pro main events, amateur undercard, and I would be ready to do that, but not yet. I'm petitioning. I'm praying and hoping that the New York State Athletic Commission will help us and pass that law and allow us smaller organizations growing to do that. You know what I mean? But if not, just
I don't
so
think
you
they
know,
can let the big boys do it though.
well, what they do is
take
they just
advantage
want the biggest companies that to pay the money right now. But Kevin and I are getting licensed now in a few other states, and we're going to be traveling with our show. So ECF will be going to New Jersey. We'll be going to Connecticut, possibly Florida. We're looking into.
I've been pushing Vegas.
Yes, Kevin's been pushing
Says the other man aside from me at the table who likes to gamble.
Kevin's always thinking big, and it's good, man. The two of us are a good balance for each other. We work well together, and we don't stop. We don't stop no matter what.
So what's the fighter outreach like right now for getting your cards stacked up? Like, how does it work? Do you target somebody based on?
I can't tell you my secrets. I can't tell you my secrets.
What we can tell you is
a lot of fighters do contact us and sign up every day.
We have an entire team flying in from Hawaii this upcoming show, April 21st.
They've been reaching out to me for over a year, about a year.
This sounds like classified information.
So what happens is this: I get a lot of fighters from out of state contact me, but I always want to give the locals a big platform, But to be honest, man, I've been running shows now for 4 years, and I've really been looking into bringing guys from out of state to challenge the really top local guys that we have, And it's good. I want to spread. I want to be national.
Why didn't you just say, "Pass me the water"?
That's what I was telling them.
Trying to be all fucking point.
Yeah, I'm like, what are they doing in the cover here?
I'm like, yo, could you pass me the water?
Completely distracted me. I'm like,
no, I wasn't trying to make noise in your conversation. Yeah. I'm like, yo, could you pass me water? She goes like this, looks at the corner of the table and says, no. I'm like, on the floor.
I thought you were pointing at his arm tattoos. I'm like, I don't care about tattoos.
You could have sent it under.
I was like, I'm sorry.
I was hoping he was going to do it.
I'm sorry, should I show my... I thought you were telling me I should show my tattoo. I'm like, all right.
That's a great tattoo, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That's awesome.
It's the beginning of a sleeve. It's going to be a whole...
It had nothing to do with that. He just wanted to show off his tattoo.
So wait, that's like a killer mermaid?
The Medusa.
Oh, Medusa. Yeah. Was Medusa a mermaid? Oh, she's a snake.
There
you go.
So you got the tail with the skulls in there.
Boom.
Yeah. I'm curious about something.
Yeah.
What's this about? Fighting, gambling, or tattoos?
I want to know about
fighting.
Your laptop trouble.
Actually, you guys as coaches, when you guys have new people walk into this gym, what would immediately stand out to you to want to put them through becoming a fighter?
When they first walk in the gym, I really don't look at them and I don't stereotype anybody or go like, all right, I'm going to turn this person into a fighter. It takes seeing them on the floor and seeing their dedication, not even their athleticism, not even how quickly they retain knowledge, because those are great things, but really it's the people who have a passion for it that come here every day, that are willing to learn.
So they're taking every class, they're showing up for open mats,
they're
doing privates.
Even if they come in just for one thing to start, because we do offer Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Muay Thai, boxing. So there are people that come in for one thing and then end up seeing the class before, the class after, and end up doing more. But really, to be a fighter, you have to be here. You have to live it. Like, I don't train hobbyists to fight. Like, there's martial artists that are hobbyists, and that's amazing. Learn how to defend yourself. Get into shape, even spar a little bit. But if you're gonna fight, you gotta train.
It's a whole
5 days,
mindset,
6 days a week for 3 to 6 hours a day, and spar 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
That's a fighter, So when a person comes in here and they're just looking to train, you see what their work ethic's like. You see, if they're dedicated and they come here, and if they have a passion for that, and then how quickly they obtain knowledge. And ultimately, you could be the best martial artist in the world, but if you don't like to get hit, then you really can't fight. A lot of the difference that's in this gym is that the organization too. Having the fight, the promotion. Yeah. Being able everyone who comes here gets to go to the show every 6 to 8 weeks and see the people that they're training right next to get in the cage of the ring and do what they're getting.
It's motivating.
Yeah, they're literally, everybody learns the same thing. So that's the one thing that's unique about this school. I don't separate classes. My fighters train with my martial artists and my fitness students. I mean, the gym's big enough. So there's not like a fighters only class.
Right.
My fighters train side by side with my martial artists. Yeah. And so it's something different because what the same people are learning, someone's going into the ring and applying.
And they see it work. And
they see it work.
Oh, it works for him.
I trained that move with him 100 times. And look, he nailed it. You know what I mean?
Do you guys for people to do grappling matches before they step in a cage? That's another thing I'm curious about.
I usually Kevin.
Yeah. Normally, so that's where I started. So I didn't start doing jiu-jitsu just to do jiu-jitsu. The goal was always MMA, and it still is. Yeah. So by competing in jiu-jitsu, it's a little bit less intense, but it still gives you that same build-up, the butterflies, the showing up and waiting around to fight and stepping on the mats, having somebody in front of you. Right. So by competing in tournaments, like we just did Pride, our guys get an idea of what it's like, so by the time they are ready to fight MMA, they're already prepared.
Not only that, but great point. But I agree with Kevin 100%. We have a lot of theories and philosophies.
Too, because it does help you build into that feeling before a cage fight. Sure.
Let me tell you something. In a cage fight, this is how I look at it. If that's the first time you ever compete, what the fuck? Like, my first jiu-jitsu match, first thing I ever did was wrestling. I was 5-5 my first wrestling season.
Oh my god!
One I lost.
In my first, I went 0-16, but then
0-16. Wow, that's hard, bro. You came back the next season?
No, I did off season. That was the first time I ever wrestled. I got scraped up.
Yo, wrestling was no joke, bro.
That was off season during when school just starts.
Right.
And I was like, nah, this isn't gonna happen again. I trained, man.
Nice, bro. Yeah, man. 5-5 my first season. Then I was like, I don't know, 20-something and 3 my second season. I started late, started in 10th grade. And then my senior year, I went undefeated. And I ended up getting a partial scholarship. Most of my scholarship, most of my college was paid for. I went to University of Buffalo. So thank God for that.
So you got a scholarship and you got a new nickname. You're Mr. 0-16 right now.
That's me up. Until he gets on the mat. Yeah, right. Remember, that was one season, bro.
And that was the off season. That didn't count for your real record.
So my point was, when you get to do tournaments, not only that, you get more than one match. So, even when I've had students, that I've witnessed where the first time they compete, they go out there and they kill it. They're just natural. Then I get students that go out there their first match and they're amazing in the gym and they just forget. And they just blank,
Probably more.
And then their second match, they wake up and they wrestle back and they come back and they place. And I see them getting better each match. So why not get 10 jiu-jitsu matches, get all that butterflies and all that competition nervousness out before you go on a big platform, a risky platform like an MMA fight or a K1 fight or a Muay Thai fight.
I felt that big time. I competed in my first jiu-jitsu competition last November. Was it Good Fight?
I think so.
Last November, my very first one.
Yeah.
And I had to wait. I was there at like 11 in the morning. I had to wait till like damn near 7. Damn near 7 o'clock. And the entire time I was so antsy. I was pacing.
Till 7 p.m.? What time did you get there?
11 in the morning.
Oh, God.
That's a little long.
Oh, wait, I'll beat that, though. Go ahead.
I was so antsy.
I was looking
for people to roll with just to, so I can
stay alive, just to stay awake. I did a Naga once. Shout out to Kip, a friend of mine, awesome dude. Owner of Naga, reality fights. He's Kip's a good dude, bro. Kip's a good dude. I did a Naga. Oh, man, let me take that back. Shout out to Kip anyway. This wasn't Naga. This was Grappler's Quest. I did a Grappler's Quest. I was a coach.
Shout out to Brian Simmons.
There you go. I did Grappler's Quest, and I had students in every division. I took a gold and a bronze, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had students that didn't go yet.
What?
2 a.m.
Really?
It was 2 a.m. And there were still people that didn't compete yet that were like still on deck. And I was like, guys, I love you. I was like, I'm delirious now. I was like, I have to leave.
But like, I support you guys.
I'm like, guys, come on, get your money back. Like, we'll come back. They were doing that because it ran so late. But yeah.
What was the build time?
I don't even know, man. I don't know. But that was really crazy. I was Mike Castle. Shout out to Mike Castle. He's a great competitor still. It was like 2 in the morning. He didn't go yet. And I was like, wow. I was like, this is going to be if I stay any longer, I'll almost be here for 24 hours. I was like, it can't be good.
those would be like those matches that go the time limit because everybody's just laying on each other like, fucking tired. Been here 17 hours.
17 hours. We were just talking about it. We want to do a tournament. Which one? It's a 2-day tournament now, right, Naga?
Well, that's Naga Worlds, so they split it because it's probably.
I'm looking to do grappling.
That's coming up, so I could. But we have kids and adults, but they're putting the kids on Sunday, the adults on Saturday. So for me to go coach all of them, I have to spend the whole weekend there. It's tough.
I'm trying to just get 1 weekend to celebrate my birthday.
That's right. We're doing a show on Kevin's birthday.
So we're going to celebrate it next weekend, but now we have Naga.
Oh my God. We're going to end up like pushing your birthday back.
Your birthday, you gotta get pushed back.
Think about how much we work. It's an interesting dynamic. I follow you guys on the internet. I've hung out with you guys a couple times now. How is it as a couple to be training together? And then I see that you guys have videos of you guys got some mats in your house. You just start rolling jiu-jitsu. So I'm pretty sure that I've seen consecutive videos where you guys have a video where you're training that day at a gym together. Mm-hmm. And then you go home, and it's like 2 hours later, and you're just filming and rolling again at your house on mat.
It just randomly happened.
But yo, you want to work on something?
Chop it up a little, isn't it?
Get puzzle mats and put them on the floor.
Where are the mats in your house? In your living room?
Yeah.
Right.
They're a lot like yours, actually.
Yeah, I saw they look the puzzle. You put them
bundled
together.
up between a couch and a wall.
Yeah.
But these are the whack ones.
They're the thinner ones.
They're
ones.
We gotta put them together all the time. Like, fuck, whatever.
We definitely want to invest in better ones.
Yeah.
Duct tape.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It feels great.
Should you guys ever get into an argument and you're just like, you know what? It's time to roll.
No. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think it's because we train with each other. We don't really get into much argument. Our argument be about somebody else, and then we'll get over it. It's like
there you go.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Someone else that does not do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right. The healing power, the bonding power. Yeah. Man, the other day I'm fucking training with Kevin, man. And like every roll, I had less and less skin on my face. It was just, I was like, it was like, I wish there was like a picture of like every time we were done. There's like, I'm like 50 Shades of Red, like every
I'm really
time.
a big fan of untucking my gi and trying to wrap it around the head.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite moves.
You know what was the worst thing for me when I started gi was the fucking skin on my nose, and then taking a shower,
and then it burns.
Oh,
yes, miserable.
That's like shooting a shot and then
your big toe,
getting your knees torn up and you have to shower.
Oh yeah, dragging your foot.
Yeah, that
rat.
I have like permanent scarring. From shots, like just from shots.
I got callus on the side.
Like I'll do like a back take and a fucking scissor and like
I call this jujitsu toe.
Oh yeah,
it hasn't healed in 7 or 8.
I got that going.
Oh no, he's taking his sock off over there too.
It hasn't healed in 8 years.
Wait, that's not a lint or anything. That's just an actual.
That's jujitsu toe, man.
It's like that.
That cut right there, that's been there for 8 years. That callus, look, if I touch you with that, I'll cut you. I'll cut you with that. I got a blade on me at all times.
He's like, bitch, you trying to rob me?
Now we just lost half of our audience.
There we go.
No, that's perfect.
So speaking of events,
yeah,
you do have a pro event coming up.
Yes, we have King of the Ring Deuce 2, our second Pro-Am event coming up right here. Boom. April 21st. Going to be at La Boom in Queens, Northern Boulevard. Tickets on sale. Go to theticketingcode.com. You can grab some tickets online. Working on, what do we got, 15, 16 fights, Mr. Matchmaker?
We definitely got to swing back.
Yeah, you guys, I told you guys, I got some press passes for you, man. I'm hooking it up. Hooking it up.
I got you. You're not paying attention.
We have an awesome pro main events. But one of the ones I'm most excited for is we have a championship trilogy.
Trilogy right here. This is it. You got Christian Perilla versus Mark Matthias, part 3. They've got to win a piece on each other. And, man.
Who won first and how? And
what's going on?
We had Christian won the first by decision. Matthias won the second by decision.
And I'm talking these decisions.
These are razor. These are split decisions or like 1/2 a point decisions, and they're beating the hell out of each other, bell to bell. This is not these guys are not evading. They're not backing up. They're coming forward. They're banging. They're spinning. They're throwing spinning heel kicks, axe kicks, punches and combinations. I mean, head kicks, landing them, and then punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Man, we had to do the third one. I'm excited to see it.
You got me excited.
I'm excited. No, honestly, that's why I had to put it as our cover, as our flyer photo.
I can already feel Judge Adelaide Bird's sweat dropping down.
Man, it's going to be intense.
If that were me, I'd be so mad about that picture.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's fine.
This is an awesome picture, man. This is an action shot. He landed that hook. He comes over the top right after that and hits him with a hook. It was boom, boom. Yeah. You know? And shout out to both of those amazing martial artists, man. I'm not going to lie, man. So many talented guys. I don't want to take away from anyone. Every fight on this card is awesome. Honestly. A lot of time and energy goes into these matchmakings. We don't just throw people against each other. It's a lot of research and a lot of, we turn down a lot of matches that we could have because it won't make for a good fight. Like, you want to make the fights like this, perfectly matched fights where the judges are like, it's close.
The billion for this one practically, right?
You know what I mean? So, there's a lot behind it, man. I don't want to take away from any of the fighters. We could redo the whole fight card. Every single one of them, I guarantee, is going to be a great fight.
And on a side note, if you don't come for the fights, come for the tacos. They have
great time. I do. I hire a great chef. She's awesome. Maria's amazing cook, and we have some great food there. Yeah, he loves the tacos. No, we have all types of food. All types of food. We have all types of food, but Kevin loves the tacos. Great tacos, great burritos, great Spanish food.
I think you and me think a lot alike. The gambling, the tacos.
But
gambling, tacos, fighting, jiu-jitsu.
So, April 21st, King of the Ring 2. It's gonna be great.
I got a question for each of you.
Let's rock.
I want to know if each of you could choose one person to grapple with, who would it be?
Great question.
Dream match?
Yeah.
Grapple.
Strictly
grapple.
It could be anybody
in
the world.
Gym, like who and then where.
And why?
Oh, Demi Lovato. Oh. Get me famous. A new blue. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a hard pick.
You're going to do like Ashton Kutcher, and then it's like...
Vince Vaughn.
No, that's a waste of a dream role, man. Like, I'll do like Andre Galvao or like fucking Buchecha or something. I know he'll kill me, but it's the point of getting a role with him.
Yeah.
Fuck, I wouldn't waste it on a famous person.
My answer would be BJ Penn.
Oh, that's a good one.
For two reasons. One,
that's a good one.
I believe wholly I can do everything he can do.
With the dexterity of his legs, yeah?
That got really fucking...
I know, I saw. What else?
I believe I can do all that. And also, I feel like I may get a lot of heat for this, but BJ Penn was one of my favorite fighters of all time.
Me too. He was one of my favorites also back in the day.
I might get heat for this because of how
we were just talking about that great fight.
Right up against the cage.
If we're going more serious than Karate Hottie.
Oh, you don't have to go see.
Yeah, my selection.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't waste my.
I want to roll with her. So
I wouldn't.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that's not a waste. I was lucky enough to get to grapple with a lot of amazing people growing up. And getting to watch a lot of amazing people train for their careers. I got to see Matt Serra on the mat as a purple belt and a brown belt and a black belt, and Rodrigo Gracie. They were friends with my dad. I was a kid, and it was really my dad doing the intense training the way we do now.
Right.
But I was still in the gym. I was still training as a kid and in and out and sitting around and watching all these amazing adults that turned into these superstars, And, I was lucky enough to get to do that, Hickson Gracie. There you go. There's someone that I've always wanted to roll with my entire life that I looked up to since I was a little kid. Since I was a little... And you know what? I know that role would probably be the most violent and hurtful role of my life. And maybe I won't even survive the role. Man.
What better way to go out, right?
Well, yeah, dude, to hang out with him before and after.
That's why I say Andre got lost. Like, he'd kill me. That's not the point.
Hey, thank God, but Hickson's, close to my size.
Well, as bad as BJ's later half of his career was, he'd still kill me. So.
But yeah, so.
I would take a round with Brian Ortega.
Whew. I like that pick.
Yeah.
I become a big Ortega fan.
But it's like, with Kevin, man. Kevin's gonna go for it. Kevin's not gonna roll and be like, "Oh, this guy's gonna beat me." He's Brian Ortega. Kevin's gonna go like, "I'm gonna try to beat Brian Ortega right now." That's Kevin. I believe in this guy, man. I think he'll be one of the world champions that a lot of people will talk about. He's taking some time right now, and he's doing his thing with me on the business end. But
step by step, we're building a bigger staff.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully in a few years we'll have our time to train and compete again.
Awesome. Thanks so much for all that. I mean,
hey, thank you guys for coming out again.
Thank you.
Can I just throw out there, if you come and visit us, like, it'll be fun doing jiu-jitsu. I promise I won't heel hook you.
Yeah.
I like
Honestly,
heel hooks.
disclaimer.
I love heel hooks.
At our gym, for those of you listening, we train jiu-jitsu every single day, 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Every day we do jiu-jitsu here, gi and no gi.
7 days a week?
Monday through Friday. Saturday, we're here from 9 a.m. to around 2, 3 in the afternoon. Sunday, we train from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 o'clock at night.
That's pretty good.
So we train 7 days a week. Yeah, man, and we love it. This is us. I live down the block.
There you go, yeah. You might as well sleep here sometimes.
We do. We have back on the mat. But yeah, April 21st, King of the Ring 2. Love to have you guys out. Show support. Follow us on Instagram, Extreme Cage Fighting. My personal Instagram is Chris ECF MMA, and our gym, ECF MMA Gym.
This is actually leading up to a beef that I have with you. You, Kevin, you don't have an Instagram, do you?
He did. He does. He deactivated it for a little bit, but we got to activate that back up.
That's some crazy ex, bro.
Christian DeFerris, Kevin Reed, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you for the...
There we go. All right, guys.
Thanks so much for listening in again. Episode 2 is a wrap.
What up? Boha!
All right, guys. See you later.
Later.
Hard, roll true.